All right, we are gonna go ahead and take another look at taking figures that are two rectangular prisms squished together and breaking them down into two new figures that we could easily solve the area for. So I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to start off by demonstrating actually with the second one. So you're gonna go ahead and look at the second one first. And the first step that we need to do is we need to break it into two prisms that are easy to solve. So I'm gonna use two different colors, and you might want to do that too. So I'm gonna break it into this. So here, got one prism here, and then I have another prism here. Okay, so I've got two prisms here. I am going to find the volume of each prism. So first I'm going to find the volume of the green prism. So I'm going to type write volume. So volume equals length times width times height. We're going to go ahead and think about that while we're doing this. And I'm going to go ahead and start by looking at it right here. So I have one line here, one edge here, and then the height. So here is my length of 3, my width of 2, and my height of 2. So volume equals 3 times 2 times 2. Volume equals 6 times 2. Volume equals 12 cubic units. Okay, now let's go ahead and look at the orange one. And I need to remember that even though I cannot see all of the cubes in the orange figure, they are there. So I cannot just count all of these cubes and be like, oh yeah, that's my volume. So I'm going to go ahead and pay attention to this part here, because this I can see. This part here, and this part here that I can see. So I have 2, 3, and 3, and it doesn't matter which one are the length, width, and height. It just matters that I have all 3 of the numbers. I've got this, this, and this. All right, so volume equals length times width times height. I have volume equals 3 times 3 times 2. Volume equals 9 times 2. Volume equals 8 cubic units. All right. Now we're not finished yet because we have to combine the volume of the green and the orange prisms. So I'm going to go ahead and take 18 plus 12, which is going to give me 30 cubic units. All right. So your first step is to break the figure into two easy to solve prisms. Then you're going to find the volume of each prism and add those two volumes together. Your job is to try the first one on your own. So go ahead and try that on your own. All right, so there's several ways that you could have broken this up, but as long as you got the same answer as I did, that's all that matters. So I'm gonna break my prism up into this right here and this right here. So that's how I'm gonna break it up. I'm gonna go ahead and solve the volume of the green one first. Volume, as we remember, is length times width times height. So let's go ahead and I see this, this, and this. Okay, so I've got a width of 2, a length of 2, and a height of 1. So volume equals 2 times 2 times 1. Volume equals 4 times 1. Volume equals 4 cubic units. All right, so now we need to find the volume of the orange one. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna look up here because it's easier to see because this bottom layer is hidden. So I'm gonna use the one that's easy to see that matches. 2, and then I've got a height of 4 and a width of 1. So width, height, length, however you want to look at it, we've got our 3 numbers. So we're going to write down our thing of volume equals length times width times height. Volume is going to equal 4 times 2 times 1 in this case. So volume is going to equal 8 times 1. Volume equals 8 cubic units. And now our last step is to combine the volume of these 2 smaller prisms. 8 plus 4 gives me 12. So my final answer is 12 cubic units. 12 cubic units. All right, you have one more here to solve. So remember, first step, break it into 2 prisms that are easy to solve. Second step, find the volume of each prism. Third step, add the volumes of the 2 prisms together. Go ahead and try this third one on your own. All right, I think the way that for me would be easiest to break this down is to break it down into this shape and into this shape. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and start with the green shape again. So volume. So I've got this side, and a height. So I have, it looks like a length of 2, a width of 2, and a height of 3. Volume equals length times width times height. Volume equals 2 times 2 times 3. So volume equals 4 times 3. Volume equals 12 cubic units. All right, so now my job is to solve for the orange one. Now here I need to pay really close attention because if you can see right here in the corner, this is almost completely covered up. There is a whole nother layer there that we might miss. So we need to make sure that we really pick sides that we can see everything in, see all the cubes so that we have an accurate volume. So I'm gonna pick here, here, and here, okay? So I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? All right, so let's go ahead now and find our volume, length times width times height. Volume equals 3 times 3 times 5. Volume equals 9 times 5. Volume equals 45. Now, if the multiplication is challenging for you, go ahead and still use the multiplication. Don't switch to adding halfway through because the multiplication is challenging. Still use the multiplication. I would rather see that you got the multiplication wrong and see that you understand the concept though of, hey, I was supposed to multiply, but I'm not quite sure how to do this multiplication. All right, so now I have the volume of the green and the volume of the orange, and I'm gonna add them together. 12 plus 45 gives me a total of 57 cubic units. All right, your next step is to go ahead and take care of the exit ticket for this lesson.